Reading Rainbow. Hi kids, today we're going to read a book about the Russian Revolution titled Help, Help, I'm Being Oppressed by Stephanie Buell. Once upon a time in late 18th century France, there lived a king and queen, King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. They were not very well liked by their subjects, the French people. They had forced a horrible burden on the French economy through supporting the American Revolution and lavish lifestyles. As a result, they heavily taxed their people. Their people were starving. As people grew more and more angry, they enacted laws such as censoring the press and free speech. The people were furious, and they said, "Help, help, we're being oppressed." And soon a revolution would begin, the French Revolution. At this time, there was the Age of Enlightenment, where new ideas through art, literature, science, and politics began to spread and take hold. Authors such as Voltaire and Jean-Jacques Rousseau spread new ideas about freedom of press, freedom of religion, and freedom to pursue knowledge. This added fuel to the people seeking a better life in France. It was not just books published in France, but cafes, newspapers, provincial academies, literary societies, and Masonic lodges all grew in number toward the end of the 18th century, according to Censor and Hunt. This gave hope and power to the oppressed people of France. A national assembly was created by the people to try and create a constitutional monarchy. It ultimately failed. As public turmoil grew, so did new political factions that spearheaded the revolution. There were the Girondins, some were ministers in the royal government, and then there was the Mountain, who were Parisian militants. Two major players in the Mountain were Maximilien Robespierre and Louis-Antoine Saint-Just. They felt that the monarchy was guilty of treason. That's Robespierre. Patriots of the revolution did more than just accuse the monarchy of crimes. They searched for ways to dismantle the aura of divinity surrounding the French crown. They created new symbols to represent their cause. After all, under the monarchy, the king was the country's symbolic center. Removing him and establishing a republic made necessary not only a new constitution, but also a new set of symbols. They created symbols such as Lady Liberty, Marianne, or La République, supporting the French Constitution. Such symbols of the new French Republic included depictions of a Hercules killing a Hydra, meant to represent the defeat of an oppressive monarchy. Patriots did more than call for the head of the monarchy. They called a convention and organized a revolutionary tribunal. They also created the Committee of Public Safety in 1793 to give guidance to the new government. Robespierre was the chief spokesman. And with this creation, it ushered in the Reign of Terror. Life was hard during this period of terror that lasted from 1793 to 1794. Jacques-Louis Menetra had no political affiliation, and he was swept up in the chaos. His description states, "During this time, terror hovered over France, and particularly in Paris, where every kind, in the midst of murder, everything was in the greatest disorder. The French breathed blood." Another man who bore witness to the horrors, Nicolas Edmé Retif, said, "Wandering alone through the city, these children have grown old before their time. Dressed in threadbare clothes, paying no attention to the chill November wind, they flirt with one another while at the same time offering to sell their bodies to any adults that pass by. It was a very dark time." During the Reign of Terror, at least 40,000 people were executed and at least 300,000 people were imprisoned. It was during this time that King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette also lost their heads to the guillotine. Many of those executed, however, were revolutionaries who opposed Robespierre's methods of governing. Like Georges Danton, he was a revolutionary, a lawyer, and believed in educating the masses. He found himself often at odds with Robespierre and was eventually sentenced to death by guillotine. Through such violence, the people began crying out, saying, "Help, help, we're being oppressed." Robespierre and Saint-Just had done enough damage. Men who feared they would soon be targeted by Robespierre's terror ordered the arrest of the two men, and both were guillotined. The revolution was not just isolated within the confines of France, but its colonies as well. Slaves in the French colonies had long suffered horrible oppression. Revolts broke out, with many shouting, "Help, help, we're being oppressed." the ex-slave François-Dominique Toussaint Louverture answered the call and fought to secure Saint-Dominique for France and his fellow slaves in 1801. The French Revolution and the Age of Enlightenment were a time of great change and turmoil. However, this period of chaos would not end with the Revolution. While many argue that the French Revolution ended in 1799, it is important to understand why Napoleon Bonaparte played a vital role in understanding the Revolution. A Corsican by birth, son of a minor noble, and he attended military school, his reign lasted from 1799 to 1815. While he ultimately made himself the emperor, he kept many aspects that fueled the French Revolution. He also had this idea of uniting Europe, his own empire. With his own empire, he created new symbols. Every aspect of his authoritarian state was stamped with Napoleon's personality. His visage and name adorned coins, engravings, history, paintings, and public monuments, according to Censor and Hunt. His fights across Europe angered many people, and this time it was more than just the French saying, "Help, help, we're being oppressed." Yet his ultimate demise was a combination of many things. First, he was fighting a war on two fronts. Second, he tried to reduce virtually all the European states to the status of colonial dependence when they had long been independent, according to Censor and Hunt. He went into exile. Seeing an opportunity with the new French king, he escaped and rallied troops. However, people were fed up, and with his defeat at Waterloo, he was banished to a distant island of St. Helena, where he died in 1821. The aftermath of the French Revolution eventually led to a democratic government for the people of France, where today everyone has the right to vote and elect their leader, a president. However, the spirit and ideals live on from the French Revolution and the Age of Enlightenment. For again, 100 years after the French Revolution, a group of people cried, "Help, help, we're being oppressed." And so began another revolution, the Russian Revolution. Vive la France! The end.